all of you guys. Hey, good morning. It is Adrienne Graham. I wanted to do this podcast, this live cast, because there are a couple of things that I want to talk about. So first, welcome and thank you for joining my little space on the internet, Mogul Chix chat. And usually I do a regular podcast, and today I'm not going to do that. I'm doing something different. So just bear with me. I didn't prepare anything. I just basically wanted to share a story that happened to me over the weekend and also give you some pointers and some tips on how you can keep similar things from happening to you. Let me give you a little context. First of all, I'm not going to mention any names. I'm not going to drag anybody. I'm not going to put anybody on Front Street. I just don't do stuff like that. I just take this as a learning lesson, and I want to make sure that everyone who encounters this knows how to handle it, whether or not you have an attorney or not. So here's the backstory. So yesterday, no, let me go back even further than that. So many of you know I founded Mogul Chix back in maybe 2015. And over the years, I have done different iterations of it. And I had something with two separate groups. Women of color who are between 500,000 and under $1 million, and the other group, 7 figures plus. And I've been talking about this forever, for years. I launched it, then I pulled it back to work on it some more. Then I had an accident and kind of took time off from business and everything to have surgery, spine surgery, physical therapy, all that, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, so I recently decided to bring back the Mogul Circle for 7-figure plus women and the Mogul Makers Club for 500,000 to under $1 million. And I talked about this on Facebook, and I think I posted it on Instagram. Back in maybe August or September of this year, I made the announcement. It only was recent that I started really talking about it and not really advertising, but making people aware of it. So I'm a part of this other group, which wasn't suitable to me, but I wanted to support because it was a woman of color. And I liked initially her frame, her, not really frame, but her message and who she was reaching. So I said, okay, hey, I can stay. It doesn't benefit me. I don't need classes. I'm well past what she's doing, but I want to support. So yesterday I wake up and I see an email, and the email says, hey, are you making 500K or more? I'm like, yeah, well, okay. So I dig deep and read into the email, and I swear to you, it could have come from my fingertips, from my brain, from my mouth. And it really upset me because I was like, wait, am I reading this wrong? So, I'm from New York. I'm from the Bronx. So I can go from 0 to 100 real quick. So I said, let me back up, get some feedback. So I called a friend of mine. Well, I texted a friend of mine. I sent her everything. She was like, oh my God, she stole your stuff. And I'm getting more and more angry. So I'm like, okay, let me calm down. Let me bring it back a little bit. So then I said, well, let me talk to a couple of other people, just, who've been through infringement stuff and, can give me some guidance. So even everybody that I spoke with said, well, 3 of the 4 people that I spoke with said, oh yes, it's infringement. Yeah, she's doing what you're doing. It's that. So 2 of the 4 said, well, how do you want to handle this? Do you want to litigate? Do you know, because I filed trademarks earlier this year, and I've been using the brand since 2015. She hasn't used the brand, it's just the concept. So I said, you know what? People are lazy. Entrepreneurs are lazy in that people tell them, don't reinvent the wheel. Just find somebody, model them, and go ahead. Well, you know what? That's not flattering to me. That's not flattery. It shows no imagination, and it shows that you're taking something from someone else. Now, I try to be very mindful and make sure I am never doing that. And if I have, I've caught it and changed it immediately. But my thing is, she's grown and has a team, and your team should have done some due diligence and some recon so it wouldn't be any confusion. I'm concerned about confusion. So anyway, so the other 2 is, how much is it going to cost you mentally to pursue this? You need to decide if this is something you want to waste your energy on. So I said, okay, hey, well, So I thought about it and I calmed down a little bit. And then another person said, well, I think this is something that's been in the works for a while. This person's gotten a lot of backlash because of what she's offered, and people didn't like it, blah, 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 whatever, whatever. So I took all of that into consideration. I did call my attorney, and, I thought about it, and I sent a note this morning letting this person know, or her team know, that I know what went down and that it was very unprofessional. And I left it at that. I didn't go on. I went on Facebook app, when I originally did it, to ask if, some feedback, if maybe I was looking at it wrong, or if I had it wrong, if I was overreacting. And overwhelmingly, people were like, no, you're not overreacting. Okay. So that brings me to my point of this video today, this live today that I wanted to do. So I'm very big in protecting yourself, protecting your IP. I always tell people, get your trademarks, do your copyrights, patents, whatever you need to do. A lot of people complain, oh, it's expensive. It's expensive. Well, how expensive is it for you to have something out there and someone rip it off, do better than you, make more money than you, and steal your idea or your property or your product or your IP or whatever it is, and you're left with nothing? Cost you more in the end. So I know several IP attorneys out there that you could contact that work nationally. We have Nicole Anderson. Hey, we have Radiance Harris. We have Tony Moore, I think, is one. Who else? Deneen Warmington. All of these people are on Facebook. You can look them up, and they're on Instagram. You can look them up. They all talk religiously about IP protection and IP content and things like that. So I'm not going to go into detail about what they do. Just look them up. I gave you the names. Look them up. Tell them I said, hey, that I referred you. So, and I have my attorneys up in DC. So anyway, I'm real particular about protecting my brand. I've always been this way. I've been in business since 1994. I'm 52 years young. Yay, hey, I know. And I've been in business since 1994. I've been through a lot of ups and downs, bumps and bruises, triumphs and failures. So I've been through a lot, and even after all this time, I'm still learning. So I don't react the way I used to react to things. I try to ask for guidance and ask, hey, am I wrong? Am I looking at this differently, or, whatever. So my point is, from number one, you have to protect yourself, protect your IP, get out there, spend that money. If you do it on your own, hey, that's fine. I recommend getting an attorney because they can do a lot of other things that you can't, like a deep dive search to make sure that there's no conflicts. Pay that extra money, get the attorney. You can do filing classes. I filed Mogul Chix under 2 classes. I think I'm going to do 2 more because there are other ideas that I have that I want to launch. But get those protections in place, whether it's a term, whether it's a name of a company, whether it's a logo design or a specific title of a program, something. Please get out there and federally register your trademark. Now, I will say this. I am not an attorney. So put that out there. I'm not an attorney. So I will say this. You need to make sure that you protect yourself in all ways. Number one, copyright. Any content that you put together, copyright it immediately. It's not expensive. Go out and copyright. You can go to, I think it's copyright.org or .gov or something like that. But look it up on Google. Copyright your content, number one. Number two, if you can't do a federal trademark right now, at least try a state trademark. I did that with my Empower Me brand years ago in the state of Georgia. And I subsequently filed a trademark federally, but we ended up abandoning it because it was too much conflict and difficulties. However, it doesn't prove or guarantee anything, but at least it shows that you have initiated protecting your IP. So if you can't do a federal, at least start with a state trademark. I think at the time, Georgia was maybe $25 or something per trademark, or $50 or whatever it was. Whatever it is well worth the money. But hear me when I say this, federally trademarked protection is best. State is for broke people who don't want to do it. And forgive me for saying it, I'm going to say that. You're in the big girl leagues. You're playing, in the big leagues. So you need to protect yourself like the big leagues do. Okay. So federally trademark as many classes as you can afford, and just save up for it if you can't afford it. Just do one at a time. I know there are people and companies out there that trademark like 15, 20 things at a time, and we all can't do that. However, federally trademark your stuff. That's number one. Number two, make sure you engage an attorney, because your attorney can give you a different vantage point that your friends and family can't give you. Make sure that you are having these conversations. I would rather pay for prevention than to pay for the issue later on. It's much more expensive later on if you have to litigate, if you have to sue someone, get cease and desist or whatever. But anyway, make sure that you're engaging an attorney when you're making these decisions. Number three, please do your research and see what else is out there. I'm very cognizant of what other people are doing. Now, I took that hiatus off because a lot of these people that are out here now, when they were in college or in high school or whatever, I was doing the thing, So like I said, I'm 52 years young. So I've been around a long time. So I know that people come and go. Not saying I had my spot, I guess you could say, but you can Google me and see everything that I've done. There's no secrets here on the internet. And if I keep looking back and forth, I have my iPad on Instagram Live and I have my live stream here on my desktop. So it's weird, I know. But anyway, so lost my train of thought. So anyway, yeah. So please go out and research and see what else other people are doing out there so that you don't step on any toes. You don't use anybody's language, any verbiage. I had an example of a young lady that I spoke to yesterday. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm going to say it, and this is going to give her some free press, but she has Black Girls Learn Spanish. I think it's called Black Girls Learn Spanish or Black Girls in Spanish or something like that. So it's a company that teaches Black women how to learn and speak fluent Spanish. Someone else launched Black Women in Spanish or speak Spanish or whatever it was, and deliberately copied her. It looked like copied her program. I've also had other ladies that say, hey, I've created this entire course and someone lifted it word for word, came, signed up for my membership, joined it. See, this is what I don't like, all that. And I'm not saying it doesn't work, guys. So don't send me hate mail. I am not hey, let me make a course and you join my membership and da-da-da-da-da. No, I do specific training, specific teaching, and I don't want everybody in all of my courses. Everybody is not meant for everything that I teach. And that's the big model now. Create a course, make millions of dollars. No, that's not the case. But you have to have something else behind it. I'm more so speaking to the service-based businesses, the consultants out there, the advisory companies, brick and mortar companies, things like that. Not so much coaches, forgive me, or membership creators, forgive me, but that's not my target demographic. But you can learn from this podcast as well, but you have to have some substance other than a course or membership. What is it that you help your customers achieve? What is the goal? What is the end goal? Not them signing up for your membership or buying your course. What is it that these people are supposed to experience? And at the end of this, what results do they see in their business or in their life? So, yeah, get real clear about what you offer and then find out what other people are offering and make sure there's no overlap. And I understand there's like a million pair of jeans. There are a million different types of phones, a million different types of bread. And I get it. However, you have to be distinct. You have to find your lane and your niche and do that. I'll give you an example. I know a personal chef, and she said, this market is so crowded. I need to figure out, I cook very well. The vegan market was like out of control. Everybody was in vegan at the time. It was a new thing to do. So she said, you know what? I'm going to focus on cancer patients, specifically cancer patients. Then she said, that was the best decision of her life because it was a niche. It was a focus for her. And she has different segments like, early stage cancer and then the advanced stage cancer. So, while it sounds morbid, but she differentiated herself. She stood out in the crowd and ended up getting better customers. When you're diversified too much, when you're too broad with it, you don't attract the right people. You find a lot of tire kickers. You find a lot of bargain hunters. You find people who are looking to piecemeal things. When you are laser focused on what you do, like my target audience is women of color who make 7+ figures, who have maybe one or two team members and looking to expand their staff, who don't have solid operations in place, who may not understand how to grow and expand that revenue, those kind of problems. They're not looking for marketing help. They're not looking for social media branding help. They're not looking for how do I create a product? They're beyond it. They've already proven their concept. They're just looking to expand on it. So, and I know that was kind of broad because I don't want to put my exact target out because, people listen and they take stuff. Anywho, so that's just to give you the gist of who I work with mostly. And I do work with the 500,000 to under $1 million to get them to $1 million. That's a whole other process. I'm not even going to get into that. So, but I'm very clear on the type of women that I want to work with, that I do work with. And there's a screening process. I'm not going to take every person that comes my way. So I think you should be real specific about who you work with. Niche down. And people get scared to niche down because they feel like, okay, well, I'll alienate people, or I won't have enough clients if I niche down. That's not true. That's you actually start speaking to your core audience. And there's 3 levels of clients you should be reaching out to for 3 different specific types of engagement. I won't go into that because that's something that I teach to my clients. But anyway, so yeah, you have to be aware of what's out on the market. Then you have to work like hell to differentiate yourself. You have to make sure that you are not stepping on toes, or you are not doing the exact same thing in the exact same way with the exact same verbiage as someone else and the exact same look and feel. Some of you, come on now, I've seen some people that steal. I can't stand a thief. I can't stand a thief. They steal even the look. I won't even get into that. So my girl, I know you watching, you know what I'm talking about. So if you want to, feel free to comment below. Please send your comments. But anyway, yeah, you have to be able to stand apart. Everybody says, oh, raise your prices and focus on this. Listen, marketing is important. We need that in our businesses. But if you have garbage to market, kind of defeats the purpose. Everybody says raise your prices. How do you know what makes you worthy of charging what you charge? And pricing, that's a whole other conversation I'll get into another time. But you have to be mindful about the value that you bring, the transformation that you bring to your clients. Whether it's a personal or professional business, or increase sales, or lose weight, or feel healthier, or increase your market share, or expand globally, whatever the outcome is, you have to be very clear and specific about that. And you have to be able to back it up to be able to prove that you can charge what you charge for it. Makes sense? Makes sense, right? So some other thoughts I have is, have conversations with people. Now, let me say it like this. Don't go telling everybody your ideas, your business ideas, because there are a lot of thieves out there, especially on social media. But what I will say is, if you see someone that is similar or almost identical to what you're doing, have a conversation with them. Find out what their end goal is. Find out what their agenda is. I'm a firm believer in collaboration over competition when it makes sense. And in some cases, maybe it will make sense. Maybe you'll see that maybe you're targeting the same audience with maybe similar things, but maybe you have this one particular specialty and this person is, good in this particular specialty. You can come together and work together. Now, that's not going to work all the time. It'll work sometimes, but not all the time. Excuse me, I have to take a tea sip. Doesn't work all the time, but I'm a firm believer in collaboration over competition. But don't be foolish. Everything needs to be documented. I'm talking to my iPad and my desktop. Everything needs to be documented. JV agreements, joint venture agreements, non-disclosures, NDAs, agreements, working agreements that you have that distinctly break down everybody's responsibilities everybody's cut, everybody's contingency plans, all of that. Again, consult your attorney. Okay. So I just wanted to share all that because I was angry. Yes, I was livid yesterday. Today I'm better. I feel good because you know what? I'm a big girl. Chalk it up to the game. I'm not the only game in town, and I'm humble enough to admit that. But at the same time, I'm not gonna let my brand or my IP be in jeopardy because I'm gonna keep my head in the sand. So yeah, so make sure you're protecting yourself. Make sure you have an attorney. I see a lot of them out here that are offering these packages where you get the filing, you get the search, you get the cease and desist, support for maybe 6 to 9 months or whatever. I don't know all of the details, but the women that I mentioned earlier, Nicole Anderson, Deneen Warmington, Tony Moore, Radiance Harris, these are all women that do IP in their respective parts of the country. So you need to look them up, or your own IP attorney if you have a referral for an IP. But yeah, have a conversation. At least book a conversation. It doesn't hurt, because look at what it will cost you not to protect yourself. And then another thing I want to talk about really quickly, I should say before another podcast, but licensing. I sat down with my attorney, one of my other attorneys, and figured out how much money I was leaving on the table by not licensing my content out. Licensing is a great way to protect your shit. Trust and believe when I say that. I got my licensing agreement and all of that, and my stuff is copyrighted. And yeah, so there are different things that you can do to protect yourself. Don't fall for the myths that are on the internet about, hey, mail something to yourself and it'd be timestamped and just don't open it. No, no. Thieves are much more sophisticated. So yeah, you have to be careful with how you protect yourself. Get an attorney. Get an attorney. Get an attorney. Stop being cheap. This is your business you're talking about. And think about it this way. Are you in business for the long haul? Are you here to build a legacy to leave to your family, to your children someday? That's longevity, that's sustainability, that is, long-term growth in generational wealth that you're passing down. So you want to protect that from now and get it covered so you don't have these problems later on. So that's all that I wanted to really share. Like I said, I didn't do this to drag this other woman. I'm not mentioning her name or whatever. But I think it is sad that this stuff happens. And I don't like that this stuff happens. But it's part of the game. You gotta be thick-skinned to be in business. And to all you heart-centered entrepreneurs out there, I love you and I have much respect for you, but please don't let that make you be a pushover. No, because business is still business. You have to focus on your business. You have to. And you have to make those tough decisions. And the higher up you go and the more money you make and the more prominent you become in your space, you'll have targets on your back. It's just, that's what it is. No matter how nice and decent you are, there will always be some shit to pop off. That's just what it is. So yeah. So anyway, that's all I have. And be happy to answer any questions later on. If you have anything, just, send me a comment, or if you are experiencing what I went through and would like to share your story, that's fine. Oh, a couple of things. Let me mention this. So Mogul Chix magazine will be dropping in January. Think Fortune and Forbes had a baby with Essence, and it came out a lifestyle business magazine. Business, not just like how to start a business, like world economies and investing and growing your business, and like that shit that you think about when you have disposable income and businesses and wealth and stuff like that. Yeah, think about all of that mashed up together in one magazine, Mogul Chix magazine. The podcast, I have not put up new episodes, but I'll be putting up new episodes shortly. I have a whole bunch in the can with some great conversations with some people that you're absolutely going to love. And then the Mogul Circle, we are opening applications for that to start in January. And it is like no other. And I can really say it is like no other. Go to circle.mogulchix with an X.com if you're making 7 figures or more and you need that support, because we have conversations that are different at that level, and we have different ways that we can move and walk and protect ourselves within those, that kind of revenue that we're having. And our business issues are different. And then with the Mogul Makers Club, if you're struggling to make 7 figures, if you just kind of like stuck and you're at 500,000 or more, but haven't hit a million, Mogul Makers Club is for you, because we guide you and primp you and prop you, get you ready to make 7 figures. And then that's a whole other set of mindset that we're preparing you for to move into that next level, to handle those responsibilities that come. I'm not gonna say problems, those responsibilities that come with making 7-figure businesses. So anywho, the mogulchix.com website is under repair right now. We're going through some stuff with that, but yeah, circle.mogulchix.com if you're making 7+ figures, and then makersclub.mogulchix.com if you're at 500 to under a million. So yeah, I'm going to put that plug out there because I did that. So anywho, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope I've given you some things to think about. I hope you will go protect yourself, get your attorney. I keep saying that, and protect yourself, get your trademarks, get your patents, get your copyrights, all of that stuff that you need to get. Go to Google and look it up and see if I'm lying. There's a lot of people that get, jacked for their stuff on a daily basis. So I'm not going to be one of them, and I don't want you to be one of them either. So anywho, well, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today, and I look forward to talking to you more. Take care. Have a good day. Have a great week. Make some money, make some mogul moves and power plays. Bye.